Starting your digital business while you have a full-time job is just like lighting a candle. There are a number of things that can go wrong. You could get burned by the match itself, and you could also get burned by the wax coming out of the candle if you're not careful. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you 21 tips that you can use today in order to make sure that your digital business is successful while you still have your full-time job. All right, let's get right into it with number one. Start small and identify your niche. When you have a full-time job, the last thing you want to do is to go broad in your product research and your audience. You want to identify as early as possible who your avatar is and what product and or service you're going to offer them. Narrowing down your audience allows you to become part of an expert community for that particular audience. And it allows you to get to profitability a lot sooner and a lot faster. So here's your call to action. I want you to identify your niche, the area of expertise that you're passionate about, or the product that you're really interested in selling for which there's a demand. Identify it, write it down in your phone or in your notebook, and let's go to number two. Your second tip is to set realistic timelines and realistic goals. Now, this is a problem and an issue that I had at first. I thought I was going to be the next Mr. Beast and I was going to produce a video that was going to go viral. Well, that didn't really happen. What you want to do is you want to build a list of milestones you want to hit, and then you want to break down those milestones into actionable weeks with activities and targets. I want you to have a week by week plan that you are going to be able to follow in order to make sure that you're driving momentum as it relates to building this digital business. Remember that this is a marathon, it's not a race. And so you want to create those habits that are going to allow you to be successful in the long run. Number three, I want you to maximize your free time. Your free time is any time you are not working. And so if you have a 9 to 5, your free time would be the evenings and the weekends. If you work in the healthcare space and you have one of those crazy schedules when you're working 12-hour shifts for 6 days in a row, well, when you're on vacation or when you have that time off, that's your free time. What I want you to do is I want you to look at your free time as an opportunity for you to make the first investment in your digital business. And that first investment is your time. It does mean, however, that you're going to have to make some tough choices. You might have to binge watch a little bit less. You might not be able to go to the gym 4 times a week. But the important thing here is that you're selecting some dedicated time for you to invest in your business. So here's your call to action. I want you to schedule and block off specific time during your day where you're going to be able to focus on building your digital business. It doesn't have to be 6 hours a day, but it must be dedicated. It must be a time where there's no distraction, no social media, no phone, no email, no television, no multitasking, but you're really focused on building your brand and building the backbone of your digital business. Number 4, automate repetitive tasks. Now, this is one of those things that I wish I would have known a lot sooner in the game. Automate simply means you looking at your business processes and looking at ways where you can add automation for it to make your life a lot easier. It often ends up saving you a ton of time downstream when you're able to do that. What you want to look at are tools like marketing softwares, CRMs, or even schedulers, anything that you could do that can help you manage your time and free up your time so that you could do a lot more value-added activities. Here's your call to action. Start with one. It doesn't have to be super complicated. You don't need any complex CRM to get you started. Maybe you'll just start with using an auto scheduler so that when you want to post stuff on social media, you don't literally need to liberate yourself or free yourself to do it, but you could post it in advance using an auto scheduler as an example. Number 5, outsource when necessary. When I started my YouTube journey, I did my editing, my posting. I was doing everything myself. I was a one-man show. And then I quickly realized that I really sucked at editing. I had no patience, nor did I have the attention to detail that was required in order to do that. This is where outsourcing makes sense. Now, I don't want you to be concerned with the cost related to outsourcing, because the truth of the matter is, depending on what task you want to outsource, it could be fairly inexpensive for you to outsource. You could use platforms like Fiverr or Upworks in order to find resources that can help you out. And you could also ask people in your community, people that are around you that might actually have the expertise and the interest in helping you out. My first video editing were done by a friend of mine who was really good at doing this kind of stuff. And she did it for me at a really reasonable cost. And so you'd be surprised by simply looking around your community to see what kind of supports are available to you. Outsource whenever you can. Number 6, I want you to prioritize high revenue activities. Now, this is kind of connected to number 5, but I want us to go deeper here. High revenue activities typically fall in 3 categories: marketing, product generation, and customer outreach. These are typically the 3 things that you need to do in order to drive your income and drive your revenue. And these are typically things that you might not feel comfortable outsourcing, and so you'll want to do them yourself. Because of that, it's very important that you have the time and that you maximize your free time in order to do one of these 3 activities. And so here's your call to action on this one. At the beginning of every week, I want you to list and identify 3 high impact activities you are going to achieve this week. Not 5, not 16, not 12, but 3. And they have to be connected to marketing, product creation, and customer outreach. Tip number 7, I want you to leverage your existing job for ideas and contacts. What? Contacts and ideas in my current job? Yep, that's exactly what I want you to do. Now, I want to be very clear here. You may have a non-disclosure agreement with your organization or a non-compete, which essentially says that you can't reproduce or do the exact same thing that you're doing for them, for a competitor, or for yourself. But these are very rare situations. Most of the time, you're going to bring skill sets that you've already honed in your current job into your digital business anyways. So I want you to have a different outlook when it comes to your 9 to 5. Instead of seeing your 9 to 5 as something that you hate doing that slows you down, see it as something that you can actually leverage to get you ahead and bring you to that business and help accelerate your growth for your digital business. So here's your call to action. I want you to look at your job and identify transferable skills that you will leave with tomorrow when you eventually leave your job and that you're going to implement in your digital business. It could be networking, could be product development, it could be relationship management, it could be project management, any other skill, HR management, social media coordination, facilities management, it doesn't matter. I want you to identify those core transferable skills that you have today that you think you could leverage for your digital business. Tip number 8, I want you to create digital products or digital services. A great way to build profitable business is by creating digital products or digital services. And the reason for that is because the level of effort you create or that you put into these products happens once, but the payback can happen multiple times, every day, every month, in a recurring fashion. Let's take the existing video that you're watching right now as an example. I've invested time and money once in order to create it, but it could be watched a number of times by different people all over the world. And that is the power of creating digital products and digital services. By the way, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, like this video and shared it with a friend, now's a great time for you to do that. So here's your call to action. I want you to think of a skill or a product that you could package in a digital way. It could be a course, it could be coaching, it could be an ebook, anything that's a digital product that you can build in your spare time. And I'm going to shoot a separate video on all the types of digital products that you can produce in order to generate an income. Tip number 9, be prepared to sacrifice some comfort. Now, this is a really important one that nobody wants to tell you about. When you're building a digital business, it is going to require some sacrifice. You're going to sacrifice some time with your friends and with your family in order to build this business. The beauty about it is that the payoff could be significant if you put the effort in at the start. So here's your call to action. I want you to assess your existing routine and identify areas where you can cut back and scale back. Those areas that you can cut back and scale back are areas where you can invest that time in your digital business. Tip number 10, speed is the name of the game. I want you to try things quickly and to iterate really quickly. In this digital environment, you can't wait to have a fully fleshed out business plan. You have to go, trial and error, and figure out what works for you. Because your time is limited, because you have a full-time job, I want you to focus on those ideas and those concepts where you can go to market fairly quickly with the idea or with the concept. The market will quickly tell you if your topic for your YouTube channel or if the product that you want to sell is viable and if there's actually a demand for it. Here's your call to action. Learn the words MVP. And no, I'm not talking about the most valuable player. I'm talking about a minimal viable product. What's the minimum viable product you need to produce in order to put it in the market and have the market react to it as quickly as possible. If you have that MVP mentality, you'll be able to produce and iterate very quickly, get real-time feedback, and make course corrections very quickly as well. Tip number 11. Reinvest your profits early in your business. Now, I'm guilty of not having done that at the beginning. The moment you start making a bit of money, you start thinking about the car you're going to drive and the house you're going to get and so on and so forth. Do not do that. That is a big, big, big mistake. If you earn $50 or $500 or $5,000, don't touch it. Reinvest it in the business. Invest it in a camera, in media, in outsourcing to somebody that's going to give you a better quality video, in learning and development. Do not touch that cash. Any money you put back into your digital business is going to pay fourfold in the future, but you have to be wise enough not to touch the money. So here's your call to action. When you do get that income, put money aside to pay for your taxes. That's really important. If you absolutely need money for you to live, sure, you could take some of it, but you shouldn't need to do that because you have a full-time job. The rest of the money, once you've set aside the money for your taxes, it should be reinvested in your business. Tip number 12, I want you to plan a transition for you to go into full-time digital business. Now, this is really important because oftentimes a lot of folks that decide to make the pivot into digital business, they make it because they got laid off or because they're sick and tired of their existing job and so on and so forth. If you plan your transition, you're going to be able to make smart decisions and also create a criteria that you need to meet before you leave your job, which is critical. So here's a call to action. I simply want you to set a financial goal that you want to reach before you pivot out of your existing business in order to start your digital business. It might be making $30,000 a year, $50,000 a year, or even $100,000 a year. It doesn't matter what that number is. Whatever that number is, I want you to write it down and set a conservative, realistic target for you to actually achieve that goal. Once you achieve that goal, then you're at a point in time where you can actually pivot into full-time digital business. Number 13, set boundaries with your time. Now, this is really important. What tends to happen is that people have great ideas during the holidays. They make all the efforts to protect their time while they're on vacation. But the moment January starts hitting and February starts hitting and life starts getting crowded and busy, they don't protect their time the same way. It's really important for you to set boundaries around your time and to keep them in order for you to maximize the time that you have available to invest in your digital business. So here's your call to action for this one. I want you to set some dedicated time every week for your business, but more importantly, I want your families and your friends to be made aware of that so that they can help you stay accountable to the objective that you've set of keeping that time free for you to invest in your business. Tip number 14, and this is really something that I wish I would have done a lot earlier. I want you to find yourself a mentor or a business community that's going to help support you. I can't tell you enough how having a community of like-minded individuals is an accelerator for your growth, for your development, and for the growth of your digital business. Like, it's crazy. Surrounding yourself with like-minded individual is a huge accelerator in terms of your growth, your learning, and your capacity to grow your business. Mentors can actually help you avoid costly mistakes that they've made over time. And you're also benefiting by simply leveraging their experience because they made mistakes and they also had great successes in their business and professional life as well. So here's your call to action. I want you to join a Facebook group, a WhatsApp group, a Snapchat group. I don't care what it is. I want you to join one of those free online communities of like-minded individuals that are in the same space of what you want to do from a digital business perspective. It doesn't have to be super fancy. It definitely has to be free because I don't want you to spend a ton of money on this, and you'll be surprised to see what platforms are available to you. Number 15, track your progress consistently. Now, this is another one that I wish I did a lot earlier in my career. If I had done that, I wouldn't have lost so much time and money starting things all over every couple of months or every few weeks. Tracking your progress allows you to stay accountable to your commitment. And keeping track of your progress is really essential if you want to stay motivated. So here's a call to action. I really want you to set up a simple system for you to keep track of your progress. It could be a piece of paper, it could be your Outlook calendar, it could be your phone. It doesn't really matter what the tool is. The important is for you to track your progress over time. Because after 1, 2, or 3 months, I want you to be able to look back at what you've accomplished and what's worked. And I want you to be able to look back at what worked and what didn't. Tip number 16, I want you to leverage free online resources. There is tons of stuff available out there that you can leverage at minimal to free cost, at no cost at all. YouTube is a phenomenal resource for online communities that give you access to tips and tricks from digital marketing to product development to social media influences and how to build a digital business from scratch, so on and so forth. Just leverage what's available and what's free. And if you haven't already done this, subscribe to this channel and smash the like button so that your boy can continue producing this kind of content. And so it's really important for you to leverage the free resources before considering investing money into any kind of supports in order to get you further. Tip number 17, I want you to test things before fully committing. A lot of times entrepreneurs jump in a little bit too early and they get burned. If you're trying to sell a product, for example, let's say the product is this pack of matches and you have a couple of sales that show that people are interested. Before quitting your job and investing $100,000 in producing these box of matches, you want to take a bit of a conservative approach and really test it in different variation and different formats to see if your idea actually is sustainable and scalable. Only then should you be all in and make the necessary investments in order for you to scale your business. So your call to action on this one is to run a small test campaign on all of your ideas. You'll know pretty quickly which ones are good to go and which ones are duds that should simply be abandoned. Tip number 18, and this is one thing that I did. Use your existing job to fund your digital business. Now, obviously, you need to have a plan and you still need to eat and have a roof over your head. But once you've done that and once you have a bit of a plan, you want to use your existing 9-to-5 to actually invest money in your business. And investing money simply means pulling out some money and investing in outsourcing, learning, automation, these things that are going to allow you to do more of the value add activities. It doesn't have to be a set amount of dollars, so I'm not going to tell you exactly how much money you need to invest in your business today, but what I can tell you is that your current 9-to-5 should be funding your digital business, at least in the inception and in the onset. So here's your call to action. I want you to answer the following question. Can you allocate 10 to 20% of your existing income into your digital business? If the answer is yes, you're good to go, and you should identify how you can use that 20% or that 10% of your income in order to grow your digital business. If the answer is no, the question then becomes, what can you do? Where can you cut so that eventually you're at a place where you can actually take your money from your day job and invest it in the business that you're so passionate about? Okay, so tip number 19, we're almost at the end here, and you want to stick till the end because the last one is really important. I want you to leverage social media. Now, I know a lot of us have been burned or hurt or tainted with the use of social media, but social media is just like money. Money itself is not the problem, it's what you do with it that becomes a problem. Social media could be a tool for you to grow your business, for you to test campaigns, for you to connect with a broad audience, just like what I'm doing today. It could be a tool for good, and it's a tool that's accessible anywhere in the world 24/7. So here's your call to action. I want you to identify a social media platform that you think you might want to leverage. Not 16 media platforms, just one. And the reason I want you to do this is because I want you to focus on one social media platform. I've made the mistake of focusing on 3 social media platforms at the same time: TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And guess what? I got burned out. I couldn't spend all of my time focusing on all 3 platforms at the same time. So I simply want you to choose one platform. And then I want you to set up a schedule and a calendar of where and how you want to post consistently on those platforms. Number 20. Okay, so the last 2 ones are the most crucial one and the most important one. Whether you're offering a digital service or a digital product, I want you to focus on solving a problem. Nobody cares about how your day went. Like, nobody cares that you bought a car or that you're going to go in the pool or that you're going to go on vacation. People care about you solving a problem that they have. You can solve it with either a product or you can solve it with a service. However you do it, solve a problem. Answer a question that people have in mind. Like what I'm doing right now in terms of giving you the content on how you can master your digital business while you're still having a 9-to-5. I'm solving a problem that people might have. You want to do the exact same thing something and solve a problem that people have. So here's your call to action. I want you to survey your avatar, your ideal audience, and ask them specifically, what is it that they struggle with? What is it that they struggle with their personal finances? If that's what you're into, or with their diet, if that's what you're into, or with their travel, if that's your area of focus, or with the cleaning of their house, if that's what if that's your area of focus. Whatever your area of focus is, ask yourself, what pain point, what problem am I solving for? And how can I help these people? If you have a genuine desire to help people, you will be amazed at the payoff in the long run and how easy it's going to be for you to overcome the obstacles that come with digital businesses because you're so motivated to change people's lives and make their lives better. All right, and now we get to tip number 21, the last of 21 tips that I have for you. Do not quit your job. Now, this is very important. I see a lot of people making $1,000 on social media and then quitting their job. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's a horrible idea. You will get burned. You want to plan your transition and you don't want to transition too early. If you transition too early, you can crash and fail. And if that happens, it'll be very difficult for you to pick yourself back up again. So here's your call to action. I want you to review the 21 tips that we shared in this video to help support your digital business while you have a full-time job. And then I want you to apply every one of those calls to action and put in the comment box, I'm working on it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to be working on it in order to drive momentum and get there over time. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one.